Hello, good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, February 5th, I think day 85. Uh, Yesterday was a very, yesterday afternoon, I should say, was a very, very interesting day, I will say. Um, interesting day. Well, let's just talk about work. I was at a new site today. It wasn't too bad. I thought it was going to be a little bit more busy, but pretty slow, so not too bad. I'll be back here Friday. Pretty chill, pretty chill. But besides, just as usual, uh, so yesterday, right? Me and Trent were playing Marvel Rivals, and it was on GTA. Then Johnny joined, right? I'm pretty sure I mentioned it. Where like there's been like some sort of like conflict between me and Johnny for like the past year, right? So I confront like how should I say it? Well, I talked to Trent Fila the other day about it. Like, yeah, that whole like confrontational thing. Like, what's up with that? And they're like, oh, they're like, yeah, I don't know, man. Oh, okay. And then we were in the party, and of course, Johnny like pointed me out and whatnot, and 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 that discussion got brought up about sorry, I'm just here in traffic. That discussion got brought up about like what's the issue between me and him, and they were talking about it, and I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, like he didn't say what it was. It was just, there's no issues, this and that. And then I was like, look, I gotta go. Take care. I'll talk to y'all then. And then, you know, I got off, and I was gonna go brush my teeth, or I think I brushed my teeth. And that conversation was like, okay, like we discussed, like he brought it up, he acknowledged it, like but he never mentioned like what it was or anything like that, right? But I'm like, okay, it's fresh, in our minds. I got to confront about it, otherwise it's gonna keep going on. So I confront, like I joined back, and like, oh hey, they're like, oh you're back. I'm like, yeah, and I was like, Johnny here, and then from that point, he was there. I mean, I asked him like, hey, like what's been the issue for like the past year or not, and he just left the party. And I was like, well, great, right? And I waited, and he joined back. And I asked him multiple times, like, what is the issue? He's like, oh, I hate you. I was like, okay, but there's clearly an issue. Like, I kept digging out to, like, just give me the answer, right? And, it was one of those things where he finally, he mentioned that, no, he didn't tell me. Trent told me. Crazy enough, right? Because, he mentioned about, like, millionaire friends and something like that along the lines, like, goals and aspiration. There's a police officer right next to me, and it was one of those things where I was like what, like I was like I don't know what, at the time I was like I don't know what you're talking about, like millionaire friends. Like, yeah, I remember you mentioned that in like in the group chat the other day, a while back, right? Not a while back, but fairly recently. And then Trent was like, you know what, I'm going to say, I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what are you going to say? And then Trent revealed, like, to kind of skip ahead, Trent and Fila knew the answer, but they never told me till that point. But I get it. They were like, we didn't want to say anything until like he was there. It's like, well, we were in the party plenty of times. We could have like, y'all could have brought this up and we could have just resolved it months ago. But it is what it is. I wasn't upset. It was just like we could have, like, instead of dealing with this BS, it was like we could have just sold it and just moved on. But so the issue, what caused the issue with Johnny and me, and even Trent, it turns out, was when I first started making these videos, right? There was I don't know what day was what video, I'm pretty sure it was one of the early ones where I discussed, because I was watching someone's blasting his music. There was a person, Ty Lopez. He's a multimillionaire, influencer, very popular person, right? And because I've been watching that guy for several years now. And at the time, one of the videos which Trent did mention, and I was like, I do recall like saying like it is a bit controversial. Like I don't really agree with it, but I see where he's coming at. Whereas like if you like is to leave, if you want to be a millionaire, let's say for example, you want to leave your friends and find hang out with millionaires. Like if you want to be a millionaire, you got to surround yourself, right? Like if you want it to be like a successful person, you want to be around successful people, which I get that. I mean, I would agree, but they were upset because like when they were checking on me, just saying if I'm doing this and that, good or whatnot, I just gave a generic answer or whatnot. But then on the videos here, I would just tell how I truly felt. So that video, based on what Johnny told me, he was very upset. All right, he was gonna call it quits because of that. Like me like saying I was gonna leave my friends and find millionaire friends, stuff like that. It's like, well, clearly that's not the case because many months later, we're still here, right? I'm still here. Um, but and Trent along the lines was too, but it wasn't really that. It was more like uh, foreclosed, foreclosed. It's not I said his full name, which I really don't remember. Like, usually I just say like Trent or Ryan or John. And, I guess I said his full name for whatever reason at the time. He didn't really like that. Um, you know, which I get. That's why I only say like first names, right, or last name, or the names we call each other. Um, but yeah, I'm like, oh, like I was like surprised. Like, wait, Trent, you were like, I guess Philo was chill. He didn't really care for anything. I was like, okay, but it's like, so this whole time you guys knew the answer but didn't say anything. And it was one of those things like we could have got it resolved a long time. Like y'all could have talked to me soon after that y'all watched that video about it, right? Instead of like many, many months later, here we are, right? Next year, here we are, right? Um, but yeah, it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, so I finally got the answer, so it's water under the bridge, but it's like, okay. Like, I mean, I'm glad it is what it is, you said it all in that discussion, but it's just like, you could have, I mean, for me, it was like one of those things where I didn't know the issue. Obviously there was little things over the course of time, but it was my guess is it was not from me making that one video, you know, and them watching it. 'Cause I know they did watch a vid. I didn't know. I know they watched at least one of the videos I made because Trent was bugging me on the name of my YouTube. 'Cause I mentioned it when I first created it, and I told him like, well, I'm gonna title it um, along the line. Like you tell me a title, and I'll make it. My next video, that title, and so I was like, look, just look. I mean, you just look up that title and it'll pop up. You just look through it. But yeah, it was just one of those things where I'm glad it's over with. I just wish we had resolved it earlier, but I don't know. I mean, it's gonna be in my head for the next for the next few days. Just like it's how silly that was. It's like we could have just talked about it, right? I mean, how many parts we were with each other, we could just like talked it out. Finally, the police officer went is turning right. So whenever you drive next to a police officer, you're always like, all right, am I lights on, everything working, following speed limit, turn on my blinkers. Um, but yeah, it just like I said, I'm glad it's done with it. I know looking back is like, really now, guys, we could have just had it resolved so long ago, and just like, I mean, and this is the thing, and the thing is, like in that video, I don't, I haven't watched the video, but I'm pretty sure I never stated I was like, yeah, this is my goal. I'm gonna leave my friends and I'm gonna find millionaire friends. I don't, as far as my memory serves me right, I never said it. I just said along the, from what I watched from Ty Lopez, from what he said in his video, I just regurgitated what he said along the lines, you know, finding, if you want to if you want to be successful or you want to be like a millionaire, you hang out with millionaire friends. And I just said that. I guess the way I said it, they thought like, oh, like he's really like he's going to just dump us and find new friends, right? Um, it's like I just want to say like, well, y'all could just like talk to me and just like, hey, yeah, we saw your video and what, just to clarify this and this and this. Oh yeah, no, yeah, and I would have told them what I told them yesterday. Like, yeah, I mean, I just watched. There was a guy I've been watching for a while, and I just that was one of the things he said. And so I just I had that on my mind, so that's why I mentioned it in that video. So I mean, I guess that was other stuff like I mentioned. I guess like more like how I was feeling about stuff that when they asked me like how I was doing, I just like, oh yeah, I'm fine. But in the video, I guess I said more things than what I said to them. So I get it. Like being more transparent, which I did apologize to them. I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I should have been more transparent at the time. But it's like, let's just we don't have these discussions. Most of the time we hop on. I mean, we either in the past at the time was like playing, talking about football or just video games, right, or some other stuff. But here and there, but rarely, very rarely, we ever talk about just personal or like emotional stuff. So, but I wanted to make get this video out, and just like the beans have been spilled. I was gonna title it that I was gonna title that this video, but I might title a little bit different. Um, but yeah, so okay, I'm like, okay, well, great. Now we shall be dandy now, right? Should be no issues, right? Uh, you know, as of right now, it shouldn't be. Just one of those things where it could have been handled a lot better, I will say, versus how because like with me and Johnny, I could always tell, like, I guess since that point when I watched the video, I could tell like there was always something in the air, like it wasn't the same um, vibes as I would say, right? It was just something was off-putting, and that was it. They were Trent said he got over it after a few days, which I'm like, oh, okay. But Johnny, he said he got over it, but I'm like, I don't know about that one, Chief. You're still, where we at now. It's like, you still were never, it was still eating away at you with that. It's like, how was I supposed to know the issue was from what I said in a video I made months ago? Like, come on now. Granted, I should have picked on the dude, that millionaire. Like, I know I mentioned in one of these videos in the past, right? Recently, that I was like, yeah, he said something about like a millionaire, like saying something on like millionaire friends, aspiration goals, and I didn't know what he was talking about. I should have picked up like, no, I said I should, but it's like that was so long ago. Like like I said, last year, I don't recall that. But I think it clicked in my mind once they were talking about like millionaire friends, goals and aspirations. And I think the moment I think Trent said like the video, I'm like video, like that. I'm like, oh, you're talking about that video I made about, yeah. And I mean, click for me, like I remember like, yeah, I made a video like long ago about that, and I told him like the reason why I made it and everything. I'm just like, that's the one. I'm like, that's the reason why. Are we serious now? Okay. I mean, alrighty. You know, yeah. I mean, it just alrighty, but yeah, that's. I'll just kind of end it here. Just not kind of say the same old thing. It just, I was taken back because like to be honest, I really didn't think that it was gonna be. I didn't think that kind of issue would have been like that big of an issue. Like for me, I feel like that's something just like I guess looking back would be just something so minor. It's like, all right, go. Like, I mean, I get at the time it's like, oh, leaving my friends, 5 million friends. Let's say that, right? You hear a video. I mean, why not just confront the guy and then just like, hey, like, yeah, we saw your video, or I saw your video. Like, what's about that, right? Just I don't know. Maybe I'm making it just seem like not as bad as it may have been. It was just one of those things where it's like we could have discussed and just resolved it way earlier and just like clarified it. But that was my thing. I mean, I'll still always remember this moment, this experience, but it'll event like the mind, the thoughts of this will eventually just fade into the back of my mind. But I'll always like go back. I told him too. I'm like, this is one of those things where like if something happens again in the future, you know, this is going to be one of those examples that's going to be brought up. Like, oh yeah, remember years ago when this happened? It's like, yeah, like it's one of those like events that's always going to be looked back at some point in the future, right? So it's like, I personally, hopefully there's not a cop. Okay, because but I'm good. It was just a dumb red light. Like I hate it. I hate those lights whenever like okay, everyone's moving. Like it was green light. We're all going, and then you just bam, the light just turns like yellow. And it's like, are we serious now? Like we got all this traffic here. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it flowing. But you turning red right here creates traffic just for this one car that's wanting to make a turn here. Like you got like 50 cars trying to go up ahead, but you're wanting to create traffic just because of that one car. It's like, come on now. Yeah, they're on their way. If we can turn green pretty soon, they're like on their way. Okay, I mean they're pretty much here. Yeah, like me gunning that light didn't really do much. I mean, I would probably pretty much be where I'm at right now. I would wish either the lights turn green faster or I don't know. Just it's those timings where it's like if only it just turned green soon, a little bit sooner, or turn red a little bit later. Right, but it is what it is. So I'll call it here till tomorrow. Take care. See ya.